Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. Hi, how you doing? What's up, YouTube? My name is Travis Master Giovanni. If you guys haven't heard of me yet, I have a Discord called MastroFutures. If you guys want to join right now, it is $9.99 a month. But again, it is worth it. But overall, I wanted to make a beginner's guide or a beginner's blueprint, let's say. The name of it is actually MastroFutures Beginner's Blueprint 3.0. I have a blueprint 2.0, and I also have a blueprint. I have a blueprint 2.0, and I also have a blueprint 1.0. But again, the blueprint 1.0 is when I first started on social media. The blueprint 2.0 goes more in depth on the strategy that I trade, and then this 3.0 blueprint will be based off of for beginners, right? This is going to be for people who don't understand what trading is yet. They don't know what they want to get into. I personally trade futures, right? I trade the futures market. So again, I'm going to be going over how I trade, what I use, and again, all the stuff that can help you get started into the markets. And if you're interested in wanting to get into the futures markets, you guys can go back and watch the Master Futures Trading Blueprint 2.0 to go more in depth on what a strategy is and how to create a strategy and overall how I trade. If you guys want to trade the way I do, I post my live recordings every single day on social media on the days I either take a trade, take a loss, or we go break even on the day or something like that, right? So again, I do trade live every single day. That's only in my Discord, and to get access to that, the link will be down below in the description. But to get access to that, you do have to pay $9.99 as of now, right? Again, I think it's worth it. I've had the Discord open for about a year now, and once we hit 200 people in the members, I decided to put it into a private Discord because again, you get those people in the Discord who join for free and they just try and hack your stuff and it gets annoying. So again, I think it's best that we moved over to a private community, and I honestly like it better like that. So if you do want to come join the community, it's a great community where you can learn. We do classes every day, we live trade every day, and again, it's overall a great community if you want to join it and be around people who are trying to learn to become a good trader, and also for people who are very supportive, and again, we don't judge at the end of the day. So going into this overall video, this one is going to be the first video based off of a 7-video series that I'm going to make. It's going to be called What is Futures Trading and how you can get started. Again, this is for beginners, right? I'm going to explain to you what futures is, why I trade it, what platforms you guys can use to get started and all that stuff, just to dive into it. You don't have to start off with real money. Again, this is beginner friendly stuff. There's nothing you have to do to put in money yet. And again, this is for me to help you guys. I want to help you as much as possible. I'm putting this out there for free. I put in the work for you guys on this. And again, this is no benefit for me. I just want you guys to maybe watch the video, learn from it, let me know what you think in the comments, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's get into it. All right, as you can see, based off the first slide, this is going to be what is futures trading and how you can get started, right? I created the slide for you guys. I've been preparing for this stuff for you guys. So again, I put as much information as possible that I think that would be best for beginner traders in this slide, so it's not too confusing for you guys and girls, if you're girls trading. And again, we'll see if it helps you guys out, right? So let's go on to the next slide here. So what are we going to be going over in this video, right? We're going to go over what futures trading actually is, how futures differ from stocks, Forex, and crypto. Again, I just trade futures personally. And then we're also going to go over what liquidity and leverage is, the power behind futures, and why I personally choose futures over Forex, crypto, and also stocks, right? So coming into the first slide, what is futures trading? A futures contract is an agreement between two parties. So one agrees to buy and the other agrees to sell something at a specific price and a specific date in the future. But as traders, right, we're retail traders. We're not waiting to take delivery of the physical product. We're simply trading the price movement of the contract. So for example, when I trade ES and NASDAQ, right? So ES and NASDAQ are the two indexes that I personally trade for futures, right? I'm not buying shares of the stock. I'm trading the price of the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100, right? Index going up or down. So I'm predicting if the stock is either going to go up or down, right? I click either buy. If I click buy, I want price to go up and I make money, right? If I want the price to go down, I'll click sell, and then I want price to go down. If price goes down, I make money, correct? So that's what makes futures so powerful. It's clean, it's fast, and it lets you trade pure price action without owning anything physical, right? We're not owning the physical stock, right? We're trading price action. We're trading if the stock market is going to go up or it's going to go down. So if we want, like I said, you can see over here on the chart, the little picture I made over here, right? As you can see. If you want to screenshot that, you guys can. Again, a futures contract is an agreement to buy or sell something at a specific price and at a specific time in the future. But as traders, we're not buying the product, we're trading the price movement. Again, this is the most simplest way. I want to explain that to you guys, right, for a beginner trader. And if you go watch my Master Futures Blueprint 2.0, again, I go more in depth on all this stuff. Here's a great definition for you guys to understand what futures is, right? Again, we're not buying the stock. We're overall trading price action for it to go up or down. Cool? Next slide. So futures versus stocks, Forex, and crypto, right? Why I choose futures. Clear structure and repeatable setups, no company news or manipulation, ideal technical traders focused on price action, right? I like focusing on price action. It's what works best for me, and I'll explain that at the end of this. Also, I traded crypto, Forex, and I've also traded stocks in the past 6 years of me trading. I've traded for a total of 6 years, but I've traded the futures market for 3 years. Over the past 6 years, I've had a lot of experience in each one of them, and for some reason, futures stuck out to me the most. And again, I'll go more in depth in that towards the end, right? That's the last slide. So going over stocks. With stocks, you're buying a piece of a company like Apple or Tesla, right? That's just a couple examples. There's many, many, many stocks out there, but right now I'm just gonna put the examples out there that you guys can understand best. So like Apple or Tesla, and the market only trades during the day from 9:30 to 4 p.m. You also have to deal with the pattern day trading rule, which limits how much you could trade with a small account. Again, I don't trade stocks anymore, but I remember when I traded on Robinhood, you could only take like 3 trades or something like that a week, or I forget, but again, there's some limit like that with the stocks if you're based off of how much money you have in your account. That I'm not 100% sure on, but this is what I had in my notes from back then. This is just small information that's going to help you guys understand what is which, right? So with Forex, you're trading currencies like the dollar versus the euro. That's an example, right? There's many Forex pairs you could trade. And while it is a big market, it's split between tons of different pairs and can be hard to track. There's many different Forex markets you could trade. Again, some people are really good at trading Forex. It's all a personal preference at the end of the day. You don't have to listen to me because I personally like futures, right? That is my decision. That's what I like best. I recommend for you guys to dive into each one of them just to learn what they are and experience what they are. Again, that doesn't mean you have to just put money in right away to each one of them. Do your research on each one and see what fits best for you and what you think you will learn better. So we have crypto. Crypto trades 24/7, but is extremely volatile and mostly unregulated. I personally, with my journey, this is what I got lucky with in the beginning of my journey. I invested into Dogecoin in the beginning of my journey, first getting into stocks. I saw Elon tweeting about it on Twitter when I was like 17 years old. I was using a Robinhood account on... Again, I'll say I'm 18 actually on this one. I was using a Robinhood account, and I ended up putting a couple grand into Dogecoin, and we ended up turning that into like $100,000. That was the first spark of my interest into trading, right? It started off with crypto, but then I got into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff like that. I didn't like the way of just buying something and holding it. I didn't day trade Bitcoin. I know some people do that sometimes or something like that, but again, I didn't like crypto towards the end of it. I kept losing money over and over and over again, but I got lucky once on Dogecoin, and that's what sparked my interest, right? So next thing, let's go over futures. So futures, on the other hand, trades 23 hours a day, 5 days a week through a centralized exchange, and you're focused on clean markets like the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, what I personally trade. So that's what makes it so powerful for disciplined traders: structure, consistency, and opportunity, right? And this is why we're going to go over on the next slide. Let's have you guys look at this real quick. If you want to screenshot this, I made this for you guys. You could screenshot this right now. It just goes over some simple stuff that you guys could put down in your notes or screenshot it, put down in your Google Doc. It's just good to have explaining what each is based off of, again, the last slide it was a paragraph of everything that I wrote. But again, this just makes it down to something that you guys can actually look at and read quickly and have your notes. So going into the next slide, what I was saying with discipline, consistency, and stuff like that. And again, that goes over in the Blueprint 2.0. when you guys go more in depth in the strategy. But I want to go over liquidity and leverage, right? This is what makes futures. So two of the biggest reasons traders love futures are liquidity and leverage. So what is liquidity? Liquidity simply means there are tons of buyers and sellers in the market at all times. That's why futures move so smoothly, and you can get in and out of trades instantly without huge slippage or weird price spikes, right? Leverage means you can control a large position with a smaller amount of money. For example, in the E-mini S&P 500 contract, one contract controls over $100,000 worth of value, but you don't need that much in your account to trade it. Again, you need a specific amount of money if you're gonna day trade, right? But again, it goes through your broker and stuff like that. They're each different. There's something called a margin you have to do some research on. And again, we'll go over that in the future of these videos. But again, you gotta remember, you're able to trade with less money to be able to use micro E-mini contracts. And that's currently what I trade right now, because I'm currently trading with, I had 15 PA accounts. We actually passed another one today. So now we have 16 funded accounts. I currently trade with around 3 to 5 micro E-minis right now to build up capital, and trust me, that is plenty. But again, people trade with minis, there's micro E-minis, and again, I'll go over that stuff in the MastroFutures 2.0 and stuff like that. That's a little bit too far. I don't want to get ahead of that. But again, you can trade with less money using futures, right? So that's what actually makes futures powerful. Small capital and big potential but it also means risk management becomes everything, which is why we'll dive deeper into that later in this series, right? Because risk management is a big thing. You can lose all of your money very quickly if you're trading on a live account, and that's happened to me many times. I ended up losing most of that money, that $100,000 that I was trading with. I put that into live Forex accounts. I put that into live futures accounts, lost it pretty much right away multiple times throughout my 6 years of trading, and it was very painful. But again, we'll go over risk management in the MastroFutures Blueprint 2.0 when you guys get to that point. Right now, you guys don't need to know that. But again, if you guys want to screenshot this little picture thing that we made over here in the right corner, it says liquidity and leverage, the power behind futures. Go ahead, screenshot that. That'll be good. And I'm actually going to go back for you guys here and actually make myself smaller because I didn't know here. We'll make myself smaller right there. So you guys can actually screenshot this one right here. Okay? Sorry about that. We'll skip forward on the presentation, right? Let's put myself up here in the top corner. Cool. So again, this is something you guys should write down in your notes here too. Liquidity and leverage, the power behind futures. So you have liquidity, quick execution, smoother movement. You have leverage, amplified control, increased responsibility, and then you also have discipline, right? Understanding the power, but knowing when not to use it, okay? Write those down in your notes. We'll go over discipline more in the future. Let's not focus on that right now, but I just wanted you guys to learn a little bit about liquidity and leverage, all right? This is the last slide, right? In these videos, again, I'm going to make them more quicker and more understanding for you guys, again, for beginner traders. And then once you guys, if you're interested, go back to the MastroFutures Blueprint 2.0. Those are unedited videos where it's just me going in depth on everything. They're a little bit longer. They're more in depth. And again, it takes more patience to watch them. But again, in this video, this is meant for beginners, right? I want you guys to get interested and know what you're going to get into and know what you're going to trade before you actually jump into the market. So why I personally chose the futures market. So over the past 6 years, like I've already explained, I've traded just about everything, crypto, Forex, stocks, and eventually futures. But about 3 years ago, I really started to deep dive into futures market, and I literally, that's when everything started to click. It was weird. Maybe I was just meant to trade futures. I don't know, but I just learned it best. So I realized and I understood how liquidity moved in these markets, how price reacted, how structure formed, and it just made sense to me in a way that other markets never did. With Forex and crypto, I always felt like I was guessing or consistently switching strategies, but with futures, things finally started to feel consistent and logical, right? I felt like there was an overall game plan on why I was taking trades. When I was in Forex and I was in crypto, especially Forex, I was just trading support and resistance. I wasn't good at it, I'll be honest with you, and I feel like I was just buying at the low and selling at the high. I just feel like I didn't have an overall long-term game plan or overall game plan of where price wanted to go. I was pretty much just guessing. So that is why I stuck with futures. It fit the way I think, the way I analyze, and the kind of structure I wanted in my trading career, right? At the end of the day, every trader finds what works best for them. But for me, futures gave me clarity, focus, and skill, and I could build for a long term. And look, we're where we are now. So that's why this entire series is centered around futures trading, because it's what I trade every day. It's what I understand best, and it's what's helped me grow the most as a trader. So again, guys and girls, trading, you have to figure out what works best for you, right? I could give you the tools, I could give you all the information to help you figure that out, but at the end of the day, trading is a personal preference. If you want to trade crypto, go trade crypto. If you want to trade Forex, go trade Forex. If you want to trade futures. It's totally up to you, and that's why I'm making this whole series so you guys can understand what futures is. I'm going to go over futures in this whole entire beginner series in these 7 videos, so you guys understand if you want to dive into this stuff. Again, personal preference for me, but you guys are going to have to develop a system over time that works best for you, and you're going to learn as you get more experienced as a trader that there's this huge ego involved in this world. Hold on one second. I'm going to make this bigger. All right, but we got to remember, there's this huge ego evolved around trading. So we have to understand that when you guys get more experienced as a trader, you have to develop a system that works best for you. You have to figure out a strategy that works best for you, and you got to figure out how you trade best based off discipline, emotion, psychology. And we're going to get all into that in the future, especially if you go watch the Blueprint 2.0, and I'll leave that in the description below. I know I keep saying it a lot, but again, you have to figure out what works best for you. And my job here and what I want to do is just help you guys learn what the futures market is, why I trade it, and then if you are interested in doing it, you can go watch the 2.0 Blueprint, and then you can develop a strategy the way I trade, right? Is it going to make sense to you? I don't know. It's what works best for me personally. I trade it every day. I post my live trades every single day, and I also post proof in my Discord and everything. I'm totally honest with the way I trade. And again, I'm just here to help people as much as possible, and I'm also growing in my journey. I'm going to keep growing and growing and growing over time. I don't compare myself to anybody. My goal is to just have growth every single day, help as many people as possible, and help us get to the position we want to be, and that is to be making a lot of money as a trader and not working for somebody else, right? The whole point of trading is freedom. At the end of the day, we all want to make money, but we got to remember too that if you're so focused on the money in trading, it's not going to work out well. And again, that'll be more in the future. You'll understand, like, people are so money driven into this game. And again, when people are so focused on the money, that's when emotions and psychology and everything gets in the way. And I've already made videos and stuff about that in the 2.0 series, so I just don't want to get too in depth with that. But overall, hopefully this first video helps you understand what futures trading is. Correct? So if you guys and girls like this video, just leave a comment, like the video for me, subscribe. I'm going to do a whole 7-video series for you guys and girls on beginners trading for you. So again, I'm going to put the best information I can possible for you and hopefully help you guys and girls out there get into trading and actually enjoy doing it for a living and actually have the drive and want to do it for the rest of your life. So again, hopefully this helps you guys out. I'm currently getting a call from my mother, so I'm going to end this here. And like and subscribe, guys. Appreciate it.